Hey, this is Josephine, the editor-in-chief of Graphite Literary Magazine, and today we'll be looking at an artist spotlight for Marcela Carrasco. Okay, so when did you first get into drawing?
Drawing and art has really been just like a constant in my life since childhood. There's actually a really good quote. I could not tell you who it's by, but he says like people never become artists. They just like they forget how to draw and they forget how to be an artist. So it's really just been a constant in my life. I guess the better question would be, when did I start taking it seriously? And that would be probably around middle school. I started like doing all those exercises of like figure studies, anatomy, still lifes, all that boring stuff that everyone hates to do, but you really need to do to improve.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be the answer.
Yeah, so what inspired you to take it more seriously?
Unlike I guess other kids, my lack of skill. I have always kind of said that I'm not very talented. I have a love for art that has always been there, and I do truly have an appreciation for it, but I was never really good.
Really?
Yeah, no. I mean, I guess you could say for someone my age, I was good if you consider like really bad traced anime drawings good. But it takes practice and it takes a lot of hard work, and I was not blessed with this divine skill to draw an apple realistically. I sort of had to learn it. And I was just inspired by watching other kids and watching maybe like as like a little sixth grader seeing eighth graders who drew way better than me, and I just thought, wow, I want to do that. I want to be able to look at something in front of me and draw it perfectly and be able to express that reality of what I'm seeing.
Yeah, so like right off the bat, did you know like, oh, I have to practice like figure drawing, I have to do this, or was there someone guiding you?
They're really, I guess, art books were the guiding principle for me. I like how to draw books. YouTube really helped.
Yeah.
I cannot remember, but like there were a lot of basically Googling how to get good at drawing at like 12 years old, and that's what pushed me.
Mm-hmm. Describe the first moment you realized you loved art.
Oh, that's hard. I guess the first time I realized I loved art was not as a creator, but more of an observer. I obviously grew up in Mexico, and in one of our trips back from to renew our visas, my mother took us to Frida Kahlo's home. And seeing not just the beauty of her home, which is an architectural masterpiece and truly a testament to traditional Mexican like folk art, but also just like the place where she painted, seeing how hard she worked because she painted laying down in her easel after her accident. Truly just seeing how hard this woman worked to create, and knowing that she had no art history, no formal education, just like me. She simply loved doing it, and she did it. And I just thought, wow, I can do it too. If she could do it, I could do it too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you had any like mentors, teachers that have guided you along the way?
Yes, I guess my mentor would have been my mom. She guided me through the path that is like learning about our history, and just the importance of knowing our culture, but also in really skill. I would have Miss Marinelle, who retired actually last year. She was a really big help. I had her first in digital art class, digital art 1, and she sort of saw my potential, I would say, and she pushed me to take AP art classes, and truly that's where, in that studio, our AP art classes, where I realized that I wanted to be surrounded by artists all the time, and I wanted a large amount of my education to simply be me drawing in a room surrounded by other creatives. So she really pushed me. She pushed me to apply to art school. She was the person that told me, Marcela, come sit with me. Like, let's look at all these art schools that are around. Like, you know, what do you want to do as an artist? Because there's so many different paths, and people don't know. People think that you sit there and draw pictures and like it's shapes and colors, and it's so fun, and it is. But there's so many different paths and things you can do as an artist that people aren't aware of. And she sort of sat me down and she told me, like, what do you want to do?
Yeah. So speaking of art school, you just committed to Pratt.
Yeah, I just committed to Pratt Institute.
Yeah, can you talk about, like, I guess what you want to find in art school and, like, how you hope to use art in their future?
Yes, so obviously there's so many different art schools and they each have so many amazing things and programs to that. I chose Pratt because of their tight-knit community. It is a small art school. They have a closed campus. So I wanted also part of that traditional college experience of like living in campus and having friends sitting out in the little green areas and eating a picnic, while also being surrounded by the amazing diversity and chaos that is life in New York City. So Pratt was really amazing for that. They have a very tight-knit group of students. Their faculties, teachers, they do not have a single full-time teacher. Every single one of their teachers is part-time because they're currently working in their field. And I knew that that was going to be so helpful, especially coming from someone who does not have connections in art. I have family that is artists and like historians, but none of us are really like connected deeply into what is the art world of New York City. So being able to make those connections and network and having that ability with making those personal connections was really important to me, and I knew that Pratt was going to be the place where I could do it, while also being surrounded by so many diverse, incredibly skilled creatives, and being able to look at people that were frankly way better than I am and stick to them by the hip and tell them, teach me your ways.
Wow, that's awesome. So after Pratt, do you see yourself like pursuing a career as a traditional artist, or?
Something in between. So I also have, my mom was also an educator. Mm-hmm. There's a pattern over here, my mom. So I am looking towards being an educator at the high school level. Maybe in New York it's a little bit different because you do need a master's. So that would be a little different. But I'm also looking towards being, someone would call the traditional path of being a gallery artist. I'm lucky enough to have been accepted into part of the program, which is gallery studies and curation. So I would also be going into archival and cleaning pieces and making sure that, like, for example, far-fetched, but like making sure the pieces at the Met are clean and nice, and like if they need restoration, what can I do? So yeah, I would be doing something in between every little place I would be in.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so going back to your art process, how do you actually plan out your pieces? Is it just whatever catches your eye?
It depends. It has definitely evolved a lot. Before, I was definitely just sort of drawing random things, building it up as I go. Now it's a lot different, thanks to my more structured art education. Thank you, AP. Art classes, as much as frustrating as they can be, they do help a lot. So yeah, now I start by making small drawings of what is called the thumbnails. So I just make really different compositions of paintings, like, oh, I wanted this or I want that. I'll usually do that in paper. Rarely do I do it in digital, but sometimes I will. And then over that I might place acrylic or watercolor, and then that's when I start working out, okay, so I know what composition I want, what colors do I want now. And after all that is done, I look up pictures, and then I put all my pictures together, and then I put them all in front of me, and then I start painting and I start sketching on my actual canvas or watercolor paper. And that's really for more of my structured pieces, all those stuff that I like submitted to my college portfolio, that I submit to art awards. When it's really just me doodling and being myself, I guess, in my room, being just a girl, then I sort of just like take a pencil or take a color pencil, even sometimes a brush, and I'll sketch with a brush. And I'll layer paint and color pencil and all this stuff on top of each other until they make something that maybe someone would call decent.
Yeah, so why do you like art?
Oh, that's hard. I like art for so many different reasons. I like it because of what it tells us about our history as humans. It is so easy, I guess, to study history through the lens of art. It is so interesting to see, what did people choose to represent? And really, humans have been artists since the start of time. Before there were even, Homo sapiens were even like the last race of humans, we were making cave paintings. So humans, I think, have always had that itch to create and to place their mark on places. There's also, I think people often assume that art is a solitary experience. They imagine someone maybe staring at, you go to a museum and you're there and they have that image of like that lone person sitting in front of a painting staring at it, and they think it's like the solitary activity. And in reality, it really isn't. Artists layer upon each other. There's a saying that like artists steal, and in a sense we do. We steal each other's themes. An artist will be like, I like what you did, let me do it in my own way. And really, art is just this huge collaborative thing that we do as humans, and it's amazing. And I like how it builds a community, and it's a way that we can spread our culture and our beliefs, and we can tell people, hey, look at this, I think this is amazing. And sometimes people will look at it and be like, I think so too. And that's great.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Okay, so what are some of your favorite memories from art?
I think recently it would be my AP art courses, just being with friends, sitting there laughing, maybe not necessarily doing art work, but definitely talking about art, talking about like maybe, oh, I hate the way this looked, and then being like, no, but look at it this way, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I like it that way more. Just sitting there with a bunch of artists or creatives, even though some of these people didn't consider themselves artists or creatives, they were, and just laughing and being together and enjoying our company is my favorite.